Okay, so the Nesivos Shalom is now talking about different methods how to resist repel the attacks of the yetzer hara. And he speaks about this idea that normally we should try and be well balanced, moderated people, right? That's the normal way that we should conduct ourselves, the Rambam's golden middle path and everything. And you don't want to be extreme. You want to be well balanced and not to one side or the other too much because it'll throw you off kilter. All right. He says, but sometimes when you're presented with a sakana from the yetzer hara, sometimes drastic times call for drastic measures. He brings a story from Nadarim about Shimon HaTzadik, who said that his entire life he would never accept the offerings of a Nazir, except for one time when a very good-looking man came to him and brought him his Nazir offerings, and just Shimon HaTzadik is a Kohen, and so he asked him, tell me, why did you take on this vow of being a Nazir? So he says, let me tell you, I was once by a body of water, some pond, I don't know what, and I saw my reflection in the water, and I'm looking at my reflection, and I'm thinking about, contemplating how good I am. A very good-looking guy, very handsome. And all of a sudden, something snapped at me, and I said to this reflection, you Rasha, you evil one, right? You want to sit there and be proud of how good you look? Okay, so we're going to get rid of those good looks. And I'm going to become a Nazir, and I'm going to, let my hair be all long and disheveled and everything, and we'll take care of those good looks. Don't you worry. All right. And so he took on that Nazir vow, and in order to hold himself back from, being falling into that trap of the yetzer hara. And so Shimon HaTzadik told him, he blessed him, said, Halavai, that there should be more Nazirs like you in Am Yisrael. All right. So Nesivos Shalom is saying that why was it that Shimon HaTzadik's policy in general was not to, be maskim to someone being a Nazir, and he wouldn't want to accept their offerings because he felt that it was an unbalanced approach to life. That, the Torah lays out guidelines. What's mutter, what's usser, what we need to refrain from, what we can enjoy. We've already got enough things that are forbidden for us. Why do you need to go and add extra things on top of that, right? Just work within the framework that God already gave you. And he feels that it's unbalanced to try and, start stepping outside of that framework and adding more chomras on and more restrictions and this and that. But in this particular case, right, it was justified because the guy felt that he was in a spiritual danger, and this extreme measure rescued him from that spiritual danger. So in this case, it actually was one of the exceptions to the rule where it worked to be kitzoni. And therefore, that's why Shimon HaTzadik was maskim to this guy's particular nizirut. I knew someone who he was feeling that he was having challenges with his phone and filters and this and that and everything. And it got to the point where one day he was just so frustrated and felt that, he couldn't handle having this device in his hand, that he just started smashing it and just completely destroyed his phone. And after that, he was able to breathe. He was calmed down, ended up getting another phone. Sometime, afterwards, he felt that he was, struggling again. And it just got to the point where he couldn't take it anymore. And he just had to smash the phone until he had these collection of these like smashed phones. Right. But, that in that moment of danger, he felt that's what he needed to do to be able to escape. I had another person who was telling me once about certain yearnings he had, and basically he was in danger of getting involved in a relationship with someone that he should not be involved with, and that it would not be halachically permissible for him to be involved with, and he was really struggling with these temptations. And so I offered him an yetzer. I said, why don't you tell this person that you've got a sexually transmitted disease, right? And it's something very catchy. And that will scare them off straight away, because who's gonna want to be with you, and then because obviously that's, listen, we're talking about, again, a very extreme case, but it's sometimes drastic times call for drastic measures. Meaning, if you're going to sit here and you're fighting this temptation, and this person is tempted to you, and you're tempted to them and stuff, and you're going to be trying to justify it, and say, oh, well, it's usher, and this could go wrong, and how can we do this? So, yeah, and you're trying to bring all these rationalizations, but at the end of the day, those rationalizations, as true as they are not necessarily going to be enough to hold up to the test of the yetzer hara. But if you can drop a bombshell, like, hey, I've got something, and if we do this avera, forget about olam haba, forget about tshuva and this, that, like, you're gonna catch this thing too, right? So, I mean, it's a bit graphic, but that's the yetzer that I gave him to. I said, listen, maybe your willpower will hold out. Maybe your rationalizations, and justifications for why you shouldn't do this thing will convince the two of you to restrain yourselves. But maybe not. But, if you tell the person this thing, that probably has a pretty good chance of working. And then you don't have to worry about the other things failing. So again, we want to be moderated people. We want to be well balanced. We don't want to be, going out there living these crazy lives, and also, doing crazy things that put us out of our balance, very often put us in danger of being vulnerable to the yetzer hara in the first place. But there is a time and a place. And sometimes, if you feel you're in that danger and normal methods aren't working, so think outside of the box, do something extreme, do something crazy, anything to just fight back, get out of that situation, and get yourself back to safety.